Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy, and I am back yet again with another video. I hope that you guys are doing well today, staying safe, and I'm back again. It is a Sunday. Welcome, everybody, to the room. I'm not sure who's all going to be on because I did just make the post right now. So, if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, hey. This channel is called Live Narc Free, and it is all about inspiring and motivating you guys to live your best life. So today, you guys, I know this is like a really different topic. I don't really talk about this topic at all. I haven't really touched on it. But I really wanted to talk about being the black sheep in the family. And I know that's an interesting term because, you actually do hear that quite a bit in the mental health community because some of us, we could feel like we were the black sheep in our, whether it was a narcissistic family, whether it could have been friends, romantic partner, basically just feeling like you're different. But what I did want to do though, you guys, I wanted to kind of give you some terms that I did find on Google. So just in case if you are new to this term. All right, sorry about that, y'all. I was just like, what is that? Am I seeing? I think my glasses need to be clean. I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, can y'all see me? All right. So yeah, I just see the glare. It's like near my nose. My bad, you guys. So, but yeah, I want to go ahead and read this term. I did find it on Google, but basically, the black sheep is a member of the family or group who is regarded as a disgrace to them, right? And it's called the black sheep of the family. Also, black sheep of the family is a disfavored or disreputable member of a group. And let's just read. So it says, what makes someone a black sheep of the family? So a black sheep is a member of the family who is marginalized, treated differently, or excluded by the rest of the family. Black sheep, also known as marginalized family members, experience feelings of hurt, inadequacy, and loneliness, right? And then it just says, how do you know if you are a black sheep? Basically just says, pay attention to the verbal cues family members give when a loved one walks away. If one member of the family is most often talked about over others, they might be the black sheep, especially if the way that they are talked about is negative. Suitable or passive behaviors might fall to the way of more aggressive ones, right? So I just wanted to see. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about this topic today because I do think it's important because, again, a lot of us victims and survivors, some of us, we have been labeled the black sheep, or we may have been treated like a black sheep. Now, myself, I know living with my aunt for 5 years, she was a narcissist, somatic narcissist, actually. I definitely felt like I was a black sheep, especially like when I had my own mind. I didn't really agree to what my aunt wanted for my life, although, I'm sure in her mind, maybe she thought that she had a better plan than I did. But I definitely felt like, I was treated differently, especially towards the end of me living with my aunt, especially when I was like moving out and all that stuff. And even after the fact, when I did move out, she didn't like the fact that, I was basically continuing on living by myself, and I wasn't looking for her to like do anything for me, basically being independent, which is what normal people would do, especially like if you're taking care of a child or, someone that, that you're responsible for at a certain age. They're supposed to grow up, move out, and live their own life. They're not supposed to be financially or codependent. For certain circumstances, it may happen, but it's not a normal thing where it's like a continuation of you're constantly dependent on someone for, your survival, if that makes sense, right? I mean, parents are supposed to allow their children to grow up, but if you have a narcissistic parent, they don't allow you to grow up. They like to I don't know if I'm saying it right, infantilize their children. So they try to, although they grow up in age, but the narcissistic parent likes to keep the child as an infant, right? That's spiritually, mentally, physically, psychologically. Why I was saying that is because I feel like, I did become the black sheep of the family. And it was just because I had my own mind. I thought for myself. I made decisions for myself. And I didn't really, of course, I wasn't hurting anybody, but it was like what I wanted was something that it was a legit thing to do and to, have that experience, especially at the time I was young. Yeah. But it's like I was living life, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, apparently, my aunt didn't like that. And then the other thing is that I stopped eating meat, right? I do kind of go here and there. I've been eating fish from time to time, but I don't eat like pork or steak or beef, chicken. I don't eat any of that anymore. And it's been since 2010. And I remember my aunt was like, "Oh, are you sure you want to go vegetarian? Like, do you know the type of food you want to eat? Like, you can't be eating this one type of food all the time." And then I remember it was her birthday and she was asking me what type of vegetables I ate. And I was like explaining to her the ones that I was eating. She's like, "Oh, well, you need to eat this vegetable. You need to eat that one." And then you guys, and this is already like when I had moved out on my own. I wasn't even around my aunt like how I usually was, because again, you guys know narcissists always like to belittle their victims. They like to humiliate people, blame and control and shame shifting, and because they're trying to build themselves up by putting you down, if that makes sense. And this is literally, you guys, at my aunt's birthday. I don't know why that light is making it look different. It's right by my glasses, you guys. Can you see that? But anyway, sorry. So at her dinner, she's basically saying like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say her son's name, but I'll just say Jay. Let's just say Jay." She's like, "Oh, well, Jay is his muscles look a lot bigger than yours." Like, and she's talking to me, and I'm looking at her like, yeah, like he's a guy and he's a lot taller and our bodies are different, But it was just the fact that she was just trying to go out of her way to make me feel less than, to bring herself up, And I don't know if I ever shared this experience with you guys or told you like what happened. So I forgot how old my aunt was turning, but my aunt, it was her birthday, and I remember I was invited. I went. It was a place called Houston's. I do believe it was California, and it's a nice restaurant. I remember that we had went a couple times prior to her birthday, and she's a Capricorn, by the way. So anyway, so we ended up going to the restaurant. I remember it was her, it was me, it was her two sons, and then one of her sons' girlfriend was there as well, and then her husband. And so, we just all like just having a good time, just eating, and out of nowhere, she just starts like kind of picking on everybody slowly but surely. And then, my turn comes, and then all the stuff that I said, that's what she mentioned. And it was just kind of like, wow, And she was a little tipsy. She did have some alcohol, or a wine, I guess, whatever. And I guess she was just feeling herself. And I'll never forget this, you guys. She was like, "Yeah, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's my birthday. It's about me, 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 me." And I'm sitting here and like, okay, But narcissists, like, they want the attention on them. It's all about them, and if they don't have the attention on them, they're going to get it by any means, right? But the thing about it was that, so we ate dinner. We was all kind of giving each other hugs, like saying bye. We had a good time. But I'll never forget this, you guys. I remember when I was leaving, I think I was giving her youngest son a hug. And I remember like when I like was giving him a hug, she was like right behind him, and it was this look that was in her eyes. It was a look that was in her eyes, and it was like, "I'm gonna get you." Like, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever witnessed that look by the narcissist. I know that I've had that look before by the male narc. But my aunt, it was like this look like, yeah, I'm gonna get you, because you guys know narcissists don't like it when you're happy. They don't like it like when you're progressing. They hate that, right? They don't want to see you doing good without their help or without them being a part of it, right? And she didn't like that. And literally, you guys, that next time I seen her, that was the last time we had contact. So that's how I knew that look was, it actually kind of freaked me out just a little bit, but I didn't say anything because I didn't know that she was a narcissist. But yeah, it did kind of freak me out a little bit. So, but yeah, and Gary, you said your brother is like that. He likes to compare his body to mine because he lifts weights and I don't. Yeah, people, I don't get it. Like, I mean, people, maybe they just feel like low about themselves, or they just feel down and they feel like they have to bring you down in order to lift themselves up. Like they need to feel better about themselves, so they will say something mean about you, or they'll criticize you, or, you know, critique you about something. It's like, okay, like you have your own body, I have my own body. Like I'm not competing against you. Like, come on, you know? So, but yeah, so, and then as far as, now this is something that is different. I never really shared this, and you guys leave me feedback and any advice that you guys want to chime in on anything that I'm saying, or just like what Gary mentioned about his brother. If you guys have an experience, leave it in the chat and we can all just kind of talk about it. But so my immediate family though, and as I said, I never really talked about this because I don't know if they're watching. I'm just saying. Hopefully not, but oh well. So my dad and my uncle are different type of people. They are older men. I would say, I know my dad's like in his 70s. My uncle, I think, is like in his late 60s. And there have been things that has happened in my life, and you know, we all live our lives, and it's like, okay, people make mistakes, people have good times, people have not so good times, but you get up, you dust yourself off, and what, you try again, right? And so I guess it's kind of sad to say I found myself kind of having to stay away from my dad and my uncle, and I'm sure they mean well. It's no pun intended, but I just think it was just the way that they grew up kind of shaped them into who they are now, which is like most of us, right? It's like how we were raised. It kind of made us into who we are. But sometimes if it's kind of negative, if it's not really supportive to an individual, it's kind of like, you know, you just have to be mindful. So what happened was I just shared some information with my dad, right? I was just confiding in him, just talking to him. I'm his daughter, and that's my dad, right? And I found out that he ended up sharing the information with my uncle. And I was just thinking like, okay, that's interesting, because I had actually told my dad this before, and I was like, well, I know that if I wanted my uncle to know, I would have talked to him. But I didn't share that information with him. So that means that I really didn't really want him in my business like that, right? And so I don't know. I just kind of, and I did kind of confront my dad, basically saying like, hey, like, I don't want you to tell, like, if I'm telling you some personal information, can you please not share it? And I guess, you know, his perspective was like, oh, it's not a secret. You know, the way he grew up was actually different from me, mainly because he had more siblings than I did. It was just me and my brother. Well, I actually had, another brother, but he's a lot older. Maybe, I think he's like in his 40s now, but I didn't really grow up around him like that. And I didn't really get to know him like that. But slowly but surely, we're like kind of building a relationship slightly. I hope to maybe reconnect with him this year. That'd be great. Like, I think, well, we are following each other on Instagram now. But the thing is, he reached out to my dad and I. My dad kind of rejected him due to personal reasons, but that's for another story. But anyway, it was just more like, you know, I had to kind of separate myself from my dad and my uncle, because, and that, in, you know, in a nutshell, kind of made me feel like the black sheep. if that makes sense. Because it was like, I am not like them. I like, if somebody shares some personal information with me, I'm not going to share it with like, my boyfriend or like a friend of mine's or a coworker. It's like, no, like that information, that individual share that with me. So I'm sure they don't want anybody else to know. Does that make sense, you guys? So, and as I said, my dad growing up, he had 4 sisters, 5 brothers, living in the house, and I'm assuming that's what they did. And I just basically kind of talked to my dad. I'm like, hey, I didn't really appreciate that. Can you not do that? You know what I mean? And so now what happens is I am not around them anymore. And then the other thing is that I don't share personal information, because what I found out is, I had different experiences that happened, and I was trying to confide in my dad, and I found out that he was just sharing it. And, they're just making a whole like circus of it and kind of laughing at it. And just, it's like entertainment. I'm just like, okay. And then another thing is, you guys, and I'm going to look at the chat, is that, because I don't want to forget this. So there was a decision that I had to make recently, right? And it's so funny. That's how it is. So I ended up sharing the information, and somehow, some way, my uncle knew about it right away. And I'm like, okay, so that's how I knew. I'm like, okay, I can't really say much anymore. And my uncle chimed in and was basically saying, oh, Joy, I don't think you should do that because of this, because of that. And I'm like, okay. I hear what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but okay, I hear it. And then my dad was kind of saying, I don't really think that you should do that, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So get this, you guys, fast forward, I ended up doing it, and everything ended up working out just fine. And I'm just thinking, like, why did they have that type of energy towards me? And so that's how I felt, again, like the black sheep, because it was just like, yeah, like there were mistakes that was made. And now you just feel like you have to control my life now, or you have to like have some sort of input when you never really had that before. You know what I mean? So I just didn't understand why they felt that they had that, that privilege to make a decision in my life. Whereas it's like, no, like you don't have that. You don't have that privilege at all. And now it's just more like, I don't know, we're kind of distant, and you can like kind of feel the awkwardness of it. So I don't know. I just thought that I'd share that story. But let me just answer the chat. So Gary, you said in college comparison and finding a job faster, they love to do that too much. Oh, wow. Yeah, don't worry about the comparison. It's not about you. It's them. They probably are not, I guess, where they want to be at in their life. And maybe they don't have a certain level in college, maybe that where they want to be, or maybe they don't have a certain degree or whatever, credits. And as far as a gig, maybe they didn't find a gig that they really liked, and they're just comparing themselves to you. But don't let that get to you. Don't let it get to you, because you're on your own journey, and you're not in a competition with anybody. It's not a race. Like, this is not a race. And thank y'all for that. Like, and John Brown, you said yes. Yes, I definitely get it. And chime in, you guys. What do y'all think? But like I said, I wanted to just bring this up because, if you're feeling like a black sheep, understand you're not alone, because I'm a black sheep too, y'all. I'm just saying. That's what it feels like, because it's just like, I'm not going to go along with someone with a certain opinion because because somebody feels like they have that right or that need to just chime in on something that it has nothing to do with them. It's not even their business. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, understand that you can put those boundaries up. You can say no. You don't always have to be a yes person. Learn how to be assertive. Maybe this is some homework for you guys. Being assertive, setting those boundaries, right? I actually have a course called Building Better Boundaries if you guys want to check that out. I talk about that, saying no, setting boundaries, right? Maybe if for a period of time you might have to go, not necessarily saying no contact, but maybe you want to go low contact, right? And maybe if you're around family members, and this could be friends, just gray rock it. Try not to have any emotions involved, right? Don't tell them your personal business, especially if they're going to gossip and talk trash about you. And that's the thing, you guys, sometimes, and this is not all, God bless their heart. I feel like, and maybe I'll see this when I get older, but I do feel like maybe some older people, maybe in their 70s, going into the 80s, depending on how they grew up, not all, but some can be kind of pessimistic, and they can be kind of cold-hearted and just not giving a crap, And I feel like that's how my dad is. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And we did have some chats and talks, and God, God. And my dad knows that I do love him and I do care about him, but it's just the way in which he has been communicating with me and relating with me has not been working for me. Maybe it's been working for him, but it has not been working for me. And it's not to say that he's a bad person. It's just saying it's not in alignment for me, just because I'm just the type of person where it's again, if I did not tell a particular person some personal information about myself, that means I don't want them to know, right? And so again, it was just difficult to try to explain that to my dad, to where, he's not taking it personal or try to make it seem like I'm judging him or making him wrong. No, that's not the case. It's just, you got to realize that everybody is different. So just because this is the way that you grew up, I didn't grow up that way. You know what I mean? My brother and I, when he was alive, we didn't grow up like that at all. If anything, we would share stuff with each other, but we wouldn't go and tell the next person, not that I can recall. And even to this day, with family and friends and even clients and stuff like that, I don't share their information because it's personal. You know what I mean? So it's that's private information. Not everybody needs to know that, And so I just want to let you guys know that, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, hey, that's personal. I'd rather not share that. You know what I mean? You don't have to answer questions that you don't want to answer, And Gary, you said, I'm going to start telling them that I'm living narc free. You're too funny, Gary. All right. Talk to you later. Yeah, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I don't really feel comfortable with answering that question. Or you could be like, oh, well, that's personal. Why do you ask that? You can kind of talk like that, especially if it's somebody that you don't want to share the information with. That's totally fine. You have that right, And John Brown, you said, I like the previous comment. Yes. So, but yeah, if you're coping with being a black sheep, you guys, understand you're going to feel sad about it. You're going to feel rejected. You're going to feel alone, but you're not. But I'm letting you know this is how you're going to feel. You're going to be beating yourself up. You may even try to change yourself to fit into the family or to fit into whatever group or, whatever organization or something, you know what I mean? And what happens is a lot of times, especially narcissistic family, those type of people are actually cults. So, and just to kind of give you guys what a cult is, I know it's kind of different, but I'm sure you guys probably hear that all the time. Let me see here. But yeah, you have cults, and they want you to be a certain way, and it's if you're not that way, then you're shunned, you're shamed, you're kicked out, you're made to feel like something wrong with you, And it's it's not. It's you just don't want to repeat generational curses, and you don't want to pass down toxic negative behaviors, and to please other people and do things that, you don't want to do, I hope I'm not sounding like I'm going on a tangent, because I don't want it to feel like that. So yeah, like the characteristics of a cult are nearly exact the same as a family, where the matriarch and the patriarch is a narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, right? So basically, it's like anyone who doesn't conform is seen as an outsider and is cut off. The whole family gathers behind the narcissist. So some of us may have been in a cult, or we know someone that has been in a cult, and you don't want to be a part of that. That's not something that you want to be a part of, right? I mean, cults, everybody does the same thing, same attitude, same personality. There's no difference. It's like, nah, you don't need that. And John, you said, I only talked to family that didn't assault me as a child. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, and it's sad that, sometimes your family members are the ones that are toxic. Sometimes your family members are the ones that are holding you back. They're the ones that's keeping you from moving forward in life. Because again, I know a lot of us, even myself included, we feel like family is everything. We feel like we owe them the world, and like, they took care of us and they was there for us for certain periods of time, certain moments when we needed them, maybe when no one else was there. But it's like at a certain point, it's like, okay, I thank you, I appreciate all that you did, but it's like, I don't owe you my life. Like, because, and again, God knows my heart. And I got 5 minutes. I'm about to sign out because I think my computer's gonna die soon. But let me see. Oh, actually, hold on, because this is a good topic. I don't want to get out of here too quick before I have my point. Hold on, y'all. Let me charge in my plug in my charger. Hold up. Sorry, you guys. Yeah. So, okay, y'all can see me now. Okay, cool. So sometimes, parents can kind of guilt you. They can give you that fear, that guilt, that obligation to stop you from maybe living your life, to stop you from making your own decisions, and to make you feel fear. And because I'm not gonna lie, like I did feel like, when I would be kind of confiding in my dad, and then he would bring my uncle into it, and they were like trying to put all this fear onto me. And I'm just like, no, that's not my energy. That's y'all energy, Keep low contact, and again, not share personal information, and not feel guilty about it, and not feel guilty, for living my life and for doing what's best for me, And John, you said too much gaslighting. Yeah, like family members will gaslight you, more maybe than a narcissist would, like of dating a romantic partner, So you just want that. And as I said, set your boundaries, be assertive. You don't have to be assertive in like a mean, negative way, but you could be assertive and speak your truth, but like in a way where it gets the point across, if that makes sense. So like if somebody says like, hey, can you do this for me? It's okay to say no. And you don't even really have to explain yourself. You could just say no. And if you want to, because maybe you feel like you have to, just be like, I'm not feeling it, or I have something to do, or I'm busy, like, and sometimes you don't even have to answer your phone. That's a boundary you could put up, like, don't answer your phone. Or you can actually tell your parent, like, hey, don't call me unless I call you, or you can't come by unannounced, or something like that. Something simple. So yeah, that's basically it, you guys. I hope that, this was helpful. So I did want to let you guys know that I am going to be offering group coaching. I know that I've been talking about this in my videos, so I'm super excited. So the details are, and you can actually look on my website. I do have the group coaching post up. So I'm trying to see, and you guys let me know what works good for you. So the group coaching can be either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And the times and those days are actually based off of the days that you guys would like the most, or if any day works, then I would probably say maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. But you guys there's a poll on my community board, so make sure that you answer that so that way I can figure out a day for all of us to get together. So basically, it's going to be a 2-hour group coaching, all victims and survivors, right, that have dealt with narcissistic abuse, that would like a collective healing, collective recovery, right? And we will be on Zoom, and it'll only be, I think I put 40, yeah, it's only $47, right? And more than likely, I'll be doing it twice a month, right? And then we could all share our stories, you know, give advice, give guidance, support, and you can ask me any questions, right? And it's just, for me, I really wanted to do it because I'm like, you know, healing from narcissistic abuse is not something you can do by yourself. I don't think so. I mean, if I could go back, I definitely would have got a coach. I definitely would have got like some sort of mentor that could be there for me, you know, especially during the times where it was like the relapses, or like when I would actually reach out to the narc, like I could have had somebody to be like, no, call me instead, you know, or text me instead. Like, let's get on the phone, you know? So, and it's good to just have someone there with you, because you don't feel like you're alone, you know? And, you know, as I said, I've been dealing with narcissists. I've been saying since 2010, but as I mentioned, I've actually been living, at the time I was living with my aunt. It was like 2006. So I have that much experience dealing with a narcissist, right? So, yeah. But basically, that's the information on the group coaching. It is going to be starting February 2022. As I said, it'll be twice a month or every other week, or however often, you know, it's helpful for you all, because that's why I want to do it, to help everybody. Because I know some people may not want the one-on-one. Some people like the group settings, and then other people like the one-on-one, you know, so it just depends. And so yeah, that's going to be available. I'm super excited. So definitely be on the lookout for that. So I think that was basically all the info. And then with that group coaching, I'm also going to be giving everybody in the group PDFs, also an audio that you could take away with you. So it'll be helpful. And I do have some other things coming out soon. So I'm super excited, you guys. So yeah, but that's basically it. And again, if you guys would like any guidance, any support, you can definitely reach out to me. You can book a support session. It doesn't have to even be about narcissists. Like, I do have that section where if it's just like you need a listening ear, you just need to vent, you can actually book a support session with me, and then we can kind of just go from there. So, but anyway, I'm signing out. I hope that you guys have an amazing week, an amazing month, and actually an amazing year. And that's basically it. And as I mentioned before, the last thing, because I talked about building better boundaries throughout this video, I actually have a video course called Building Better Boundaries, which talks about building strong boundaries, being assertive, learning how to say no, learning your value, learning your worth, and not being afraid to, you know, be yourself, not being afraid to assert yourself, and, you know, building better self-esteem as well, and building that confidence. So if you guys like this video, you know, maybe check out that video course. Maybe it could really help you. And also, I do have another video course called 5 Signs You're Dealing with a Narcissist, because a lot of us may not know what a narcissist is. So being able to recognize the signs is really helpful. So you can check out that course too. So it's all on my website. This is my website, you guys. And anything else, you can email me at livenarcfree9@gmail.com. All right. Love you guys so much. See you all in the next video. Take care.